Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the This is the Music Meets Podcast, an independent podcast show that's dedicated to introducing you to rising indie and alternative artists from across the UK and Ireland. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any future episodes, and don't be shy, drop us a comment as we do love to hear from you. All right, let's dive straight into it. This is episode 139, and we've got another incredible artist lined up for you. Joining the This is the Music Meets podcast is a band that blends swagger, soul, and straight up rock and roll into one electrifying package. The band have got the kind of sound that grabs you by the collar and doesn't let go, raw energy, gritty charm, and hooks that hit hard. So it is a very warm welcome to the podcast to the mighty Payola. How you doing, lads? How's the weekend been for you?
Yeah, good man. Cheers. Till today's football result, yeah, all very good. But yeah, all good, man. Sun's shining, it's good.
Brilliant, good stuff. So I've still got Robbie as here as well with us alongside Dave. So obviously lots to talk about. Obviously 3 fantastic singles, the debut gig as well. Plus, obviously, you've had radio play as well over in America, and obviously all of the exciting gigs that you've got lined up as well later on in this year. But let's sort of go back right to the sort of beginning, really, of Payola life. Robbie, I'll come to you on this one first. So, how did the band get together?
Well, you come the wrong person straight away there, Mark. So, it was set up with Dave and Scotty. I'll let you take it, Dave. I joined at a later point, so
yeah.
So essentially, I've known Scotty for a while. He was in, as you probably know, Mark. He was in a band called Maze.
Yeah,
brilliant band,
great band. Yeah,
and him and Maze parted ways at the end of 2023, and I was like, I want to be in a band with him because he's shit
brilliant.
up basically.
Yeah.
He's so good, and so I approached Scott about getting together, and he was interested in doing something, and myself and Craig the drummer worked together, and we'd done a kind of only that year we'd done everyone was going back into the office and stuff like that, and we did a little bit of a staff conference and stuff, and they said, they basically reached out to the musicians who they knew were musicians, well, I say musicians and me, and basically said, would you do like a covers thing for like this staff conference thing? So I've known Craig anyway, and we got together and just had a jam throughout and did that and just like some covers and stuff. It was a really good laugh, but Craig's mustard, he can play absolutely anything. And so as soon as I spoke to Scotty, and it's like, there's a chance we got to film, so I was like, there was only one person who I wanted to play drums, and that was Craig.
Yeah.
So it started off as the 3 of us. We met for the first time in the Argyle Arms in January 2024. Just to have a chat, really, like, are we all on the same kind of page? Are we all into the same thing? And more importantly, to get on all right as people, because like, all be into the same music and you on all of that. But ultimately, if you think each other's a dickhead, it's not going to go far, is it? So, we all got on really well, had a good laugh, went in and started writing. Weirdly, the first 2 songs we like kind of rehearsed there's 3 of them we rehearsed, first of all, which is the first 2 singles, which was both written by Scott, which was Born Out of Frustration and The Way It All Begins. And then Ivory Tickler, another one in our set, was like the 3rd one. And we kind of built on those 3. Got a guitarist and a bass player in, and as these things do, doesn't work out, other commitments, and they decided to leave. And then Robbie, I can't remember if I saw your ad or you saw my ad. I can't even remember what it was, but I remember getting in touch with Robbie. And we met in the Marquis, didn't we, for our first get together in the summer or something. So the Marquis Covent Garden, for those who don't know, like the best pub in London. It's just just brilliant. Hat tip to Tommy, the governor. I met Robbie in there, and despite him being an Arsenal fan, he was a decent geezer, and got on really well. And it's kind of gone from there. And then Matt joined again. I think Matt replied to an ad, joined shortly after, and it kind of went from there, really.
Yeah, sure, Robbie. Can you remember? Was it your ad, Dave's ad? Can you remember?
I can't remember actually. But I just remember going to meet Dave. It was like going back on Plenty of Fish, going to meet Dave, some stranger in a pub. But it's good. Clicked both all into the same sort of music and that, and so I think we got summer out of the way. I think it's about August time, and we got summer out of the way.
Mate,
yeah, and then we started. Yeah, went in and rehearsed, didn't we? And then Matt joined, and yeah, I think the band had just recorded the first single. So
so I think we just done Born Out of Frustration, and then you came in, mate, because you're on the second one, and Matt joined just as we were recording the second one, wasn't he? And so yeah,
and been flying ever since. And kind of like then in terms of the band's name, because I've sort of picked up on something. I don't know if this is true or not, but has it got anything at all to do with I don't know if you're aware, but there's like a scandal in 50s and 60s America where effectively record labels were paying sort of radio DJs or stations, to play specific songs, basically, obviously without, effective bribery, for make it a bit easier for people. Is there any truth in that? Is that where that sort of inspired?
Yeah. So the name came from Scotty. I think this is probably even before me, Scotty, and Craig even met. We had like different ideas, just kicked around bits and pieces, and he said to me the name. And then he sent me the dictionary definition. It's like, that's fucking cool, man. Yeah, I'll go with that. I like the idea of blackmailing people to play us. I think that's quite cool. So, and it's quite cool when radio stations say they don't accept payola, but then pay payola. I think that's quite cool. So that's absolutely true. Yeah. So yes, hat tip to Scotty for that. He came up with a name. I'd never heard of it until then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sure. And obviously, your band's tagline is obviously swagger and soul, and rock and roll. So, how then would you say? And this is obviously for both of you, really, to sort of kind of like to put your opinion on it. But so, how then does that tagline manifest? Then, do you think into your music, and obviously as well, your live shows as well?
I'll go first, and then Rob. Yeah. So I think I've got to be really careful here, because it's going to sound like I'm slagging people off, and I'm really not, because I think there's such a great scene at the moment and all that. But I think there's lots of rock bands, there's lots of this, but there's certain. I think I'm heavily influenced by the Britpop era and a lot that went along with that, and it had a certain swagger about it. It had a certain. I'm not just talking about Oasis and Liam walking down the road or walking on stage or anything like that, but the whole era, the whole thing. And I just think some bands have got a little bit geography teacher recently, like tweed jackets and stuff like that. And it's like, I just think it's something about music that makes you want to strut about, that makes you want to, and I like to feel we give that. I think it's a tagline, but I think it's also a little bit of a kind of mission statement as well. I think everything we've released so far has kind of, you can attribute all of those bits to it. I think there's a little bit of soul to it. I think there's a little bit deeper meaning to all of the stuff. And, and with Scotty's riffs and stuff like that, there's no doubt in any of the kind of rock and roll kind of part of it. So, yeah, that's what it means to me anyway.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. I was going to say as well about with Matt on the bass. I mean, he's got the bass lines are incredible, and I think it just goes with it. I think there's a bit of a groove there. I think the tagline it sums up the sound of the band really.
Yeah, sure. And picking up really on what both of you have been saying now, I think as well that sometimes with a lot of the again don't want to slag anybody off for sure, because there some great bands out there. Some I've championed myself, but I think one of the good things for me about Payola's music is that as soon as you hear it, you fully like energized. You want to get up and go and do something, and it sort of is a bit inspiring. Where sometimes there can be other songs that come out there and referring to you sort of, they look like geography teachers or whatever. That it's a bit like, oh, come on, man. You've got to get all the all the fret, all the song books out and everything to understand what they're playing and all of that. So totally understand where you're coming from on that. But obviously your debut single, obviously you've mentioned there, Born Out of Frustration, I guess kind of like set the tone for the band's sound. It's obviously past 6,000 Spotify streams, which is fantastic. So kind of like then, can you just like tell us a little bit of a story behind the track, and what was the creative process for that? I know you touched on that Scott wrote it? Is he writing all the riffs and the lyrics with it, or is that someone else coming up with the lyrics?
Yeah, so I think with every song we've gone, it's always been that someone brings an idea, and they might have lyrics or they might have whatever. But then I do like to think that as a band, and definitely recently, we all kind of put into it, and we all kind of add our own bit, whether it be an idea about structure or whatever. Scott had this riff and he had this idea, and he written basically the song was pretty much written, and then so he brought that. It's one of those things you turn up to the first like jam between like there's me, Robbie, and Craig and Scott. It's like, so okay, so who's got anything?
Yeah.
And Scott, he had this, and he had the way it all begins, and he just had this riff that was just so Moorish, and it's just like, there's got to be a song out of that. Scotty wrote all the words, and then as it goes through, I think I wrote the second part to both verses. We added a bit on and bits and pieces and stuff like that, and then it was just a case of just kind of organically rehearsing it as you do, and then what sounds good here, what sounds good there. I think Craig's part can't be underplayed in it, just like the driving drums of it as well. Just really, really good. And Craig actually plays bass on the recording as well, to be fair, yeah. And did an amazing job on that. And so we kind of like, even though we'd lost like the other rhythm guitarist and the bass player, it was like, well, we've got this song here, we believe in it so much, so we're going to put it out. And then if we've got something to put out, we've got something to attract people like Robbie, like Matt too, to come in. So yeah, it started from a Scott idea, and then as most things do with us, it all just kind of gets whirled round and stuff like that. But yeah, it's Scottish tune, and it shows him off, which he's probably pleased about.
No, definitely, I can understand that. And Robbie, kind of like then in terms of the creative process, has that been sort of quite easy for you to fit in, obviously with the rhythm guitar parts?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's really cool. Like we'll just meet up, like Dave says, you know, people bring their ideas or songs they might have already written, and then we just go with it. And then it's good to see as well. Like we'll start off with like an idea, and it just snowballs, and then at the end of it, it just sounds not totally different, but it's just got more to it. Other little ideas from everybody's chipping in, and some of the songs that I think we started with to where they started to where they are now, they're unbelievable. I mean, there's I think there's some really good tunes in our set list. So yeah, can't wait to get out and play them.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm sure obviously you probably progressed your set list from when that debut gig, but yeah, for the obviously back in January. But yeah, there was some top tunes in there. And talking of top tunes, obviously Pulse Jet Man is the latest single. Fantastic anthem, plenty of that sort of 90s swagger, obviously, that you've touched on already, and infectious guitar riffs as well. But what I want to know is who or what is the Pulse Jet Man?
So it's it kind of came out of it's like the first song's probably written collectively. So Craig had an idea that kind of came out the other two people leaving. He just like that they'd left, and he was working on demos or bits and pieces, and just had a little bit of a vibe that and then brought it to rehearsal. And the only line he had was, "I'm a Pulse Jet man, come on." Yeah. That was it. And so we had a jam about it, and I've got like I've got a bag of lyrics. It's like going back like 20 years, just odd bits of lyrics that have never been written. I just carried them around. And so there's always something I've got knocking about. And I took a few ideas to just jam over the top and get the melody right. And then ended up writing some words to it. And I quite like the fact that it's about as much as you want it to be about, or as little as you want it to be about. So in my head, it's like anyone can be a Pulse Jet man, whether you want to be. I think we reference being a singer. I think we reference being an astronaut, being a thief, being a, whatever else. It's just like, that's everyone. Everyone can be what they want to be, kind of thing. And that's how I look at it anyway. And again, the chorus, that whole kind of screaming from out of nowhere is a little bit like, yeah, you're making an entrance, man. And it again goes back to that kind of swagger thing. It's just, yeah. So I think, upholstery man's whoever you want it to be. It could be a superhero, it can be an office worker for you want, but yeah, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, probably I reckon it's just about my favourite tune of the three that you've put out so far. But not a problem at all. But looking slightly into the future, this might be about to change though, to be fair. Because obviously you have got a new single coming up on the horizon. Dave, can you do me and the This Is the Music listeners the honour of just sort of telling us, you know, a little bit about the song in terms of, you know, when it's going to be out, and obviously more just as importantly, what's it called?
Yeah, so the single's called Everywhere Light Can't See. The plan is it's going to be out on Friday the 30th of May, and it's written by our very own Robbie. So it's I did Robbie brought to the band and everyone's chucked in, but essentially the core of the song is exactly the same. It's written by Robbie, and it's just, I'll be honest, I'm gonna say it, but it's an amazing tune. I just love it. It's so infectious, and I think how we've worked it and how it's done. None of the lyrics have changed. It's all what Robbie's written, and it's a credit to him as a songwriter, man. It really is. So I'll hand over to Robbie for the next bit. Now I've like blown smoke up him.
Yeah, no. Yeah, just a song that I just went through like a phase last year. Just don't know, out of nowhere, just loads of songs, you know, coming out, just writing on my acoustic guitar, and it sort of goes with the theme. So you know, we were talking about. I remember we was talking about the artwork of the current singles, and they're all to do with sort of like light. And I said to Dave, you know, I've got a tune, Everywhere Light Can't See. It sort of like goes. It's sort of like part. You know, it links with that quite well. So I sent the guys the demo and they liked it. So yeah, we started playing it in the studio, just rehearsing it, and yeah, then we recorded it the other couple of weeks ago. But yeah, the way it come out, it's unbelievable. I think it's I'm really pleased with how it's come out, and I know the rest of the guys are. So yeah, just can't wait now for you guys to hear it, and for you to play it, and us to then play it like you know, when we're playing next. So yeah, really happy with it.
Yeah, sure, totally understandable, and it's like you actually knew what I was going to say next, Robbie, because you can actually hear the song at the end of this podcast. As I say, everywhere light can't see. It's going to be at the end of the episode, so do tune in. Or stay tuned, sorry, at the end of this episode, because it is an exclusive first listen of the track, and it's got sort of a real drive and energy about it. It's also a little bit moody and with the atmospherics as well in there. So it is another fantastic track. And as I say, it's probably once, you know, I think people hopefully would agree with me that it may well be their favourite Payola track as well. Okay, so moving away then sort of from the releases, you know, and sort of the studio stuff, let's have a little talk about obviously the live dates. Obviously we touched on before, obviously you did your first gig in January, which was a great evening. I'm sure everyone that was there would agree with me on that. But obviously you've got some big gigs lined up for the rest of 2025, and we're going to put all those links to the tickets in the episode bio. But I'll just run through them quickly first. So Friday the 16th of May, you're at 93 Feet East. Sunday the 25th of May, you're at the Cavern Club and the pub as well, so a double header. And then you're back at Camden Assembly on Saturday the 18th of October. Robbie, I'll come to you on the first one. Big gig Friday, as I say, 93 Feet East, and obviously some pretty big bands have played there over the years. You know, the likes of Radiohead and the White Stripes. So how excited are you to be playing at such a great venue?
Yeah, buzzing! I can't wait. It's gonna be a great night. Just raring to go. You know, it feels like it's been a while since we played our last gig. So chomping at the bit to get out there. You know, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a cracking venue, and obviously from there, you've Dave, we were just talking off air before about how the whole weekend up in Liverpool is gonna pan out with you know, for you with everything else that's going on around it. But obviously, two gigs at the Cavern Club in one day. I mean, it's got to be the stuff that dreams are made of, right?
Oh, mate, I'm absolutely buzzing. Scotty applied for it, and we got put on a waiting list. And you think, oh, well, you'll never hear anything from that. And someone dropped out, and they got in touch with us. And I don't think we could say yes fast enough, to be brutally honest with you, mate. And it is stuff of dreams. It's like part of this band is being like, we want to play those venues that we've never played before. So I've played 93 Feet East before. I've never played the Cavern. I never thought I'd ever get a chance to play the Cavern. So, you know, if we go up there, have a good gig, and we unplug and walk off, and that's it, and we don't do anything else ever since, I've done the Cavern. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those.
Yeah.
And then in June, we're headlining the Dublin Castle. Yes. I've never played the Dublin Castle. Again, one of those venues on my list. Camden Assembly, I've never played. Want to do that. So it's very much about, we want to have a good time. We want to enjoy ourselves. We hope that comes across in our shows, and by us going to different places. And if you like those bucket list venues, ticking them off. I mean, after the Cavern, I just want the 100 Club, and I'm like, yeah, that'll do me, man. You know?
So, blaze of glory.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm surprised though, like how it's just gone like that. You know, we played like Spice of Life, didn't we? And then from there, we've just been contacted, you know, about playing loads of different places, and it's just sort of like skyrocketed. So it's I can't believe sort of like how quick we're getting these gigs. Some of these iconic venues. It's just I mean, they must be doing something right. So
no, definitely. Without blowing smoke up your asses, I can definitely understand why people are. To be honest, you know, you've got that, as I say, that sound that I think that a lot of people are looking for and want to go and listen to. But have you thought about how you're going to plan, you know, 2 gigs in one day? Have you thought about how you're going to approach it at all? I mean, what are the sets the same sort of time, or have you got a little bit more in one than the other? Or
so it's International Pop Overthrow is the event, and as part of the event, they put on local bands from Liverpool, bands from the UK, and international bands, and it goes around the world, this thing.
Yeah.
And but part of so it's a week-long kind of, well, as I understand it, a week-long residency at the Cavern. This is like about 15 bands a day. But as part of the deal, you play both venues. You play the Cavern Club, which is obviously where the Beatles did their thing.
Yeah.
And then you play the Cavern Pub across the road the same day as part of it, and they just mix you all up. So it kicks off at like 12 midday, and then we're playing the Cavern Club at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on the Sunday. Bank holiday. Should be plenty of people about. I'm really pleased at that because we'll all be relatively sober. We play the Cavern. We close the Cavern Pub at midnight. We're the last band on at midnight later on.
Oh, wow.
So if you're coming to Liverpool, by the way, people, I get there for the club one. We might be a little bit sharper. But yeah, so we might be a little bit more well-oiled and all of that kind of thing. But it's got to be a good laugh, man. And just blown away by where we are, what we're playing. And this will be our electric gig number 3. You know, I mean, it's a Cavern, man. Stuff dreams are made of. It's, you know, there's a load of stuff going on in Liverpool that weekend. I was saying to you off air, it's cost me a small mortgage to get a hotel room that weekend, but it's just like, well, it's the Cavern, isn't it? Like,
you know? No, you've got to do it, man.
Got to do it. So can't wait. Absolutely buzzing for that, man.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously when, you know, looking through across, you know, like your social, you know, the band socials and that, obviously one of the things that you've said is that the band aren't here, you know, to mess about, you know, going for it, you know, full on 100 miles an hour. And obviously Camden Assembly, about 600 cap, I believe. I think I'm right in saying. I mean,
Christ, don't tell me that.
I'll edit that bit out. But I mean, I guess that's proof in the pudding, right? In that saying, you know, that you're not here to mess about, getting that venue booked.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not speaking for Robbie, so Robbie might think differently, but I feel we're all kind of a similar attitude and idea, is that we think we write good music. We want to play good music in good venues. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be some time we're going to turn up. We're going to play at the bar staff. It's happened to the best of them. You know, if you're going to play at the bar staff, you might as well play at a bloody good venue and play at the bar staff, you know? So And yeah, places like Camden Assembly, Dublin Castle. As I say, I want next year, I want to do the 100 Club. I've never done the Water Rats as well. That's like a big one for me. That's mainly for the whole Oasis First London gig connection for me personally. But, you know, if we're enjoying it, I like to think everyone else is enjoying it. If it's a buzz for us to play these places, I like to think it's going to be a buzz for the people watching us.
Yep.
And again, I count myself really lucky. I'm in a band with 4 other fellas, don't tell them, that I think are wonderful people, genuinely wonderful people. And I'm over the moon at being a band with them. And I just think we're just going to have a laugh, man, and just we're ride it till the wheels fall off. And, you know, I don't want to play, you know, the local pub round the corner to my family every week. You know, let's go in town, let's go and play these places. And hopefully we're going to take people with us on the journey.
Yeah, sure. Robbie, do you agree with that? Anything? Obviously, you know, don't obviously tell the other 4 that you think they're good fellas as well. But
keep that between us, lad.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, we all get on. We've all got similar sort of ideas, and there's no egos or anything like that. It is honestly, it's just a bit of fun, but you know, there's something with it. You know, and we're doing, like I say, you know, we're doing something right, I think. So. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, have you got anything special planned for these gigs at the minute? Have you, you know, or is it just going to be, you know, straight out rock and roll, you know, no gimmicks or anything like that?
I've been looking through, see if I can get another Parker, to be honest, for the next one, because I do love a Parker. But it's getting a bit warmer, so it's a bit dodge. But no, so the next one, 93 Feet East, next week, we're giving away, we've done a limited run of CDs. There's 150 Pulse Jet Man EP CDs that have got Pulse Jet Man and the 2 other singles on it. They're numbered, so there's only 150. You can only get them on the door. So we've said to the promoter to hand them out. It doesn't matter if you buy a ticket for us or anyone else, but really go on, buy a ticket for us.
Absolutely.
But you'll get it on the door getting in. We're not selling them. So when they're gone, they're gone. If they don't all go this gig, they go roll over to the next one, you know. And we're just trying to think of stuff like that because I think the scene is so strong these days. And I think it's a good thing. I mean, since we started going, I've listened to your show quite religiously. And the quality of artists being played is like really high.
Yeah.
And we are a new band on the scene. And you've got to get above the noise. There's a lot of noise and there's a lot of really good noise. But how do you get amongst that? How do you make sure that you're being one of the ones being heard? So like every band out there, you've got to try different bits and pieces to attract people to gigs or attract people to listen to your tunes and all of that kind of thing. And so, yeah, we're doing bits and pieces like that. So this will be the first one at 93 Feet East. We give away the CD, see how it goes. Might be a terrible idea, might be a good idea. I like to think that it's going to be.
The thing is, they're not shit either, are they? They're quality. They look good.
Yeah,
you know, 3 bangers on there. Yeah,
exactly, mate. Exactly. All looks apart. All looks pucker. So yeah, and if you get down there and see us, we'll sign it all for you because that'll make it worth, I don't know, less than probably what it is anyway. But still, you know, some people like that, you know. So if you want us to sign it, we will do. But
brilliant, love that. And obviously, you know, you did touch on it there before, but you know, over the summer, your 3rd electric gig by the end of the Cavern. But obviously, a couple of weeks back, you obviously did do a little acoustic gig. At the famous the Marquez pub in Covent Garden, fantastic pub if you've not checked it out before. Obviously that was all part of the record store day. It was a whole day of gigs within the pub. Robbie, how was that for you? Like from going from full on electric to, you know, little acoustic?
It's mad. I like playing acoustic. It's got different sound. You know, the tunes. They've just got a different sound to them, and yeah, I had a bit of a moment. Like you were playing in there, and you just look around, like, you know, so many people have played there, and you look on the wall, like, and I'm looking up, and there's people on there that, you know, I've followed for years, and you know, you think I'm playing like to people here, like this is it's crazy. Like, I didn't expect this, you know. I've never really been in bands before. It's just something I used to, you know, just bit of a hobby, like playing the guitar, and then next thing I know, I'm playing to people, like going back to the Spice of Life. I mean, it was sold out. You got people it was our first gig, and there's people coming to see us from like I think Peterborough and places like that, and you think it's just it's surreal. It's really surreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the acoustic gig. It was it was good fun. All had our kids there as well. It was a great day.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I can imagine. Would hopefully if you're going to do it next year, hopefully I'll be able to get myself over. Obviously, I'm indisposed, so to speak, on that day. But okay, we're going to move on to the next part of the podcast, where we ask our guests a series of questions that are sort of designed to be, hopefully a little bit more sort of like light-hearted and help the listeners find out a little bit more about the artists that we're interviewing. So first up, though, we're going to play a little game, effectively of winner stays on. So basically, I'll give you the names of the band, and you guys can decide which one stays on, and then we get to the final one, whoever that is. Clearly, they win. So first up, it's all Britpop bands. So first up, we've got Cast v Verve.
I'm going Cast.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think Verve done a few. They've done a few albums, haven't they? So, but I'm gonna have to. Oh, I'll go Cast with you.
Okay, right then. Next matchup, we've got Cast v Blur.
Scotty's gonna hate me, but I'm gonna have to go Blur for this one.
Yeah, Blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, okie dokie. Yeah. Right, yeah. And so we've got Blur v Supergrass.
Blur.
Yeah, gotta be Blur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blur v Suede.
Blur.
Still gotta be Blur, yeah.
Okay. Blur v Pulp.
Blur for me.
Yeah. Wow, okay, right.
Yeah. I love Different Class. It's one of my favourite albums ever, but I think Blur's got more. So, yeah, I'll go Blur.
Yeah,
I think Scotty's going to boot us out of the band.
Oh, mate, yeah. When he finds out we've been on a podcast talking about Blur and how much we love them for the last time, or something, he's got to sack a pair of us, yeah. He hates Blur.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's a chance on this next one that you might be able to rectify it and keep yourselves in the band. We've got Blur v The Charlatans.
Charlatans.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
I'll help you out, Mark. The Charlatans are my favourite band in the world, so they've won.
Okay, well this is it now. This is the final one. It's probably fairly obvious who the Charlatans are going to be up against. It is Oasis. So Charlatans v Oasis.
There's only one winner for me, mate. I'm a groupie.
Yeah. I knew why you were my favourite, Robbie.
Yeah.
What I will say, I don't have any love for the Charlatans if it wasn't for Oasis.
Yeah.
So I maintain, like, if you not ask me my top 10 albums in the world, they change all the time and whatever else. One album that's probably not in my top 10, but I think is the most important album of my music life, if you want, is What's Still in Morning Glory. I don't even think it's Oasis' best album, but the time it came along, the age I was at the time, and how important it was, and the doors it opened that introduced me to other music, I maintain that's the most important album.
Yeah.
In my record collection, just for what it did, made me look backwards, made me look at other bands on the scene, stuff like that. So I don't discover as much about the Charlatans without Oasis. So there's my sitting on the fence answer. There you go.
Do you know what? Funny enough, with the Charlatans in that sort of 90s period, I never couldn't get into them at all. Wasn't at all. And then they supported Oasis at Finsbury Park, and that was it. I was hooked after that.
Did you go?
Yeah, well, I did two of the three, like the three gigs that they did over that weekend. I would have done the third one, but I had to go and play five-a-side football or seven-a-side football in the middle of the job. Why anyone's playing in July, I do not know. And I wasn't even part of this club anyway. I should have just sacked it off, to be fair. But yeah, that was it. From that, like, just the love that everyone had in that, 50, 60,000, whatever, however many people were in.
That's brilliant. Black Rebel Motorcycle Club were there, weren't
Yeah,
they? They're
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a great weekend, and whoever curated those bands and that lineup, deserves a big old pat on the back. I think it's fair to say. Okay, moving away from them, back to the questions. If you could only play one Payola song for the rest of your musical career, but you had to play it in a different style every time, country, jazz, hard rock, whatever, heavy metal, which song would you choose, and what would be the style?
I think Pulse Jet Man could be anything. I think Pulse Jet Man could make a great country tune. I could absolutely hear it being a heavy metal tune. I think it. Yeah, the Pulse Jet Man, he's got no borders, man. He's got no barriers. He's a free spirit, mate. So I reckon the Pulse Jet Man.
Yeah,
nice.
I think it's one of the strongest songs. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I'd have to say Pulse Jet Man.
Yeah, definitely loving that. Okay, how many Parkers does Dave own?
Jesus Christ! Yeah.
A lot.
I bet you got a room just for. I bet you got a room. I'm surprised you ain't got one on tonight, even though it's like really warm day. I thought you'd have come in your Parker.
I turned up to the football today. I met a mate who always comes to gigs. I meet him all the time. And he went, "You ain't in a coat."
I mean, I am disappointed, Dave, to be honest, that you haven't got one on. But have you got one lined up for any of the shows?
So I've got 7 of them. 8 if you include a big proper winter Parker, so I can do every day of the week. But I'm looking for a new one for the next show, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one or not. So I just rotate them around. So yeah, I got 7 of them.
Brilliant. If you could collaborate with any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, nice.
And reason he's a Beatle.
Yeah, you don't need to say anything else.
He's a Beatle. I could say Noel Gallagher, I could say Paul Weller, say Tim Burgess, but it's Paul McCartney, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'll probably go with that.
Yeah, sure. Robbie, how about you?
Yeah, well, I probably like Oasis, or even Fleetwood Mac. Love Fleetwood Mac. I think they've got some, amazing musicians. The whole back catalogue and the former members. Probably them. I think again, like they've all chipped in. They've all got their added bits to the band and brought their own ideas and songs. Yeah, probably Fleetwood Mac, I'd say.
Oh, nice. Yeah, both brilliant answers there. Brilliant answers. If I hope that this doesn't happen, just before I get answer the question out. But if you were stranded on a desert island, which 3 albums would you have with you?
Oh man,
it's always a tough one. This.
As soon as we get off this call, change my mind.
I think for me, I'd go Rumours, Fleetwood Mac, even though just mention them. It's got to be nice. For me. Be Here Now. I think that's my favourite Oasis album. Just for the time when it come out, it was a great summer. And then my third one, I'll probably a bit out there. It's not not one of my favourite bands, but maybe Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. Again, it was an album I just had on repeat. I think it's got some good tunes on it. A bit different from your normal, I love my indie music, but I'll probably say that.
Yeah, nice, loving that. Great choices. How about you, Dave? Have you worked it out? Yeah, or has it already changed while you've been thinking about it?
Oh. So I think
Park Life, you going, Blur?
Yeah, I'll take the whole of Blur's back catalogue. Yeah. Scotty. Put that on the desert island with Scott. See how long he lasts. I think definitely maybe he's got to be, because again I said like Morning Glory because kind of the most important, but definitely maybe like just blew my socks off, and I just think it's. And I still think it sounds fresh now. It doesn't matter how many times I've heard it; it still sounds fresh now. Man, Abbey
Surely.
Road by the Beatles.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
It's my
great
favourite
album.
Beatles album. And probably, again, a bit of a left field choice. Acting Baby by U2. I know U2 ain't everyone's cup of tea, but like REM in the early 90s, they were the biggest band at the time. And they decided, you know what, we're just going to make an album that doesn't sound anything like us. And REM did the same with Monster. And I've just got a lot of respect for bands who just don't dial it in. I mean, they start dialing it in again now, but in the 90s, you know, I think Acting Baby, the Fly on there is just, yeah. So I'll probably go with them three.
Excellent. Three great choices from both of you there. What other plans have Payola got in 2025? Obviously, we've got mentioned the new single coming out, and obviously a couple of the gigs as well. Anything outside of that at the minute, or is it a case of wait and see?
I think the main thing for us is that, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of bands say this, Mark, is that we're a new band. I've said about like trying to rise above the noise. It's building a following. You know, it's great. We've had a great response to. We got more people at the Spice of Life than I thought we ever would, which is great. As Robbie said, Johnny, shout out to Johnny from Peterborough. He came and saw us at the Spice of Life. He's come and seen us at the Marquis when we did the acoustic gig, and like he's come all the way from Peterborough to see us, and that like just means loads. That's just like mind blowing. But it's building a following. It's trying to get that together, so it's not always friends and family turning up to every single gig. That's the main thing. And it's just looking at ways at how we could do that and engage with people and get our music out there. Really, we've kind of we talked about like doing an album. That might be something further on down the line, but the trouble is, if you do an album, it's kind of like giving all your sweeties away at once.
Yeah,
at the moment, the way the music is with like streaming and stuff like that. So we've kind of decided to do things in like 4-song hits. So like back in the 90s, bands used to release 4 singles from an album and then go on. So our 3 singles and the 4th one, when it comes out, is all look the same style. They've all got the same kind of template for the cover kind of thing. There's a theme running through it. So there'd be a new template coming. So we'd do a redesign for that for the next 4. And so looking at the theming behind that, we desperately need to get some photos done. Just trying to like top up the like it's a horrible thing to say, but you kind of got to work on your brand, which sounds really corporate and arsey. And I'd love to turn around and say, oh, our tunes will take care of it all. But again, you've got to be, putting that work in and doing all of that. So just exploring that really. So hopefully we're not doing any festivals until we got the summer off. So sounds weird, but we'll soon start getting into the point where you're looking at the festivals for next year.
Yeah.
Like, can we get on any of them? Start applying for them. So like kind of like the Mod Weekender down in Brighton. We'd love to do that. You've had the Mod Mayday thing, and we're not particularly mod band, but I think we've got a little bit of a mod influence to us. We're definitely influenced by part of that culture. I've got the coats to go with it. So yeah, it'd be good to get on bits and pieces and stuff like that, and start playing with other bands as well. So so really just kind of trying to gradually build that following up really, and build about, make a bit of noise about us.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, I'm pretty confident that you will do exactly that in rest of this year and beyond as well. But Dave and Robbie, look, unfortunately, that is the end of the This Is the Music Meets podcast. Thanks so much for coming on the pod. I've been looking forward to this one for such a long time. So it was great. It's great to have you on and talk to you outside of a gig setting or social media and all that sort of stuff as well. But before I do let you go, can you just let the This Is the Music listeners know the social media platforms that they can find Payola on?
Yeah, so we are Payola the band on Facebook, Payola Music UK on Twitter and Instagram, and TikTok as well. Don't ask me how TikTok works. I still don't know. I'm still getting to grips with it, but kids are into it, aren't they? But basically Payola Music UK everywhere, apart from Facebook where we're Payola the band. So yeah, you can find us on there.
Excellent, great stuff. Look, we'll put those links in the episode bio. And obviously we mentioned as well about the ticket link as well for the gigs that you got coming up as well. So look, wish you good luck with everything
Thanks,
You're
mate.
doing some good things in my view, and as far as I'm concerned, long may that continue.
Cheers, Mark. Thank you. And I just want to
thanks a
say
lot,
before
Mark.
we go, man, thank you so much for all your support for playing us from the beginning, doing stuff like this, turn up to the gigs, man. We really appreciate it. You're a legend, man. So all power to you. And thanks so much.
And love the show. It's quality.
Brilliant
Some of
show.
the bands on there. Yeah.
Legends. Thank you very much, and massively appreciate all the support that you've given. This is the music, man, and yeah, we'll keep fighting a good fight together, right?
Yeah, cheers, man. Nice one.
All that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for listening to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any brand new episodes. And if you're loving the podcast, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a comment. If you're listening to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then stay tuned, because at the end of this episode, you'll be able to hear the forthcoming new single from Payola, Everywhere Lights Can't See, a moody, atmospheric indie rock track that drifts through a dreamlike soundscape of reverb, soap guitars, and emotional vocals. Don't forget to leave a comment below about this episode and the track, as it will really help Payola. The track is released on Friday, the 30th of May. I'll see you very, very soon for another This Is The Music Meets podcast. Thanks for listening. And remember, the future is bright. The future is indie.
Woo!